Alrighty, tubers. So today what we're going to be doing, something definitely different. I've done trailers before on my channel, fixing them, doing different things with them. This is an old camper trailer. It was an old 70s camper trailer. I picked this guy up for free. As you can see, we've got some pressure treated lumber here, 2x6. Got some angle iron here. It's a 2x2, 1/8 inch angle iron. And what we're going to be doing is making this trailer into a flatbed. Sorry, I just adjusted my microphone here. What we're going to be doing is making this into a flatbed. It's got pretty good sized axles underneath it. I'm not 100% sure what size of axles these guys are. If I had to guess, they're probably 3,500 pound to 4,000 pound axles, two of them. Four-wheel braking, so front and rear axles have electric brakes. It still has the mounts for the water and probably gray tank, black tank is how it was set up. Water tanks in these older 70s campers usually went inside underneath a bench or something. Still got an area for propane up front. We're gonna get rid of all that. But what happened to this trailer is they tried giving it away as a camper. They couldn't. People didn't show up. Said oh, I want it. And they would come to meet them, and they wouldn't pick it up. So I guess over a winter or something like that, a tree ended up falling on it, and you can actually see damage on the right side of the frame. This must have been the side that the tree fell on. This is box tube framing, but it's got a split down the middle of it. That's just how it was made, which is no issue. There's no problem in that. But wherever there's these pieces that come out further to make the floor larger, you can see areas where in this case is the worst one, and I can actually stick my fingers in here. I'm guessing the tree fell on this side and really bent those parts open. That's going to be an easy fix though. Just take a C-clamp, we'll clamp this shut, and then we'll weld it. And we'll do that all the way down, because I'll most likely be reusing these and building the deck all the way out to here to make it nice and wide. So we're going to weld all these shut and go all the way down and do that where it's splitting open. And then on the opposite side of this trailer, we're going to weld it up in the same spots that it's splitting on the opposite side. So here, we'll add some there and here. We'll build this up right. I am hoping to have this built in about 2 days. Tonight's getting a little late, but we're gonna get done what we can get done. I'm not sure where my tape measure is at the moment, because I can never seem to keep track of those. They always seem to have a mind of their own, and they like to walk off. But the inside, from the inside of this rail to the inside of that rail, is 48 inches. The deck itself, I think it's 16 foot long. Let's see, what are these boards rated at? These boards are, 16 foot long. We're gonna build it all the way out. There's the big tube in the back where you would put your drainage tube, and we're gonna build it all the way out to here. I might end up building it right up to it or over it. Either way, we'll have enough lumber here to do it. This bottom board butts up right against it and pretty well gets to the end here. So might need to put one piece of wood along there. Not 100% sure yet. We're building this kind of off the top of my head, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. All right, I found my tape measure. Let's go ahead and do some measuring here. So width-wise, the trailer is 93.5 on the dot, 93.5 foot. So that would be 7 foot 9.5 inches. That's the width. The length right here, about 193 and a quarter. 16 foot 1 inch and a quarter. All the way out to here, 94 and a quarter. That's 93 and a quarter here. Then all the way out to here is 198 and a quarter. That's 16 foot 6 inches and a quarter. Go ahead and start with getting that damage welded up and taken care of. You can see that damage now a little clearer. Goes all the way down. You can see it's pretty good sized. Almost get my finger into that one. This is the worst one of them. Gonna have to bend them up, bend them back, or bend these closed again, and then weld them up. Got a couple different welders I can use. Got my little flux core welder, or my MIG. And with the weather today, there's no wind, I might go for the MIG. If there's wind, you definitely want to go with a flux core or a stick welder or something like that, because it will blow your shielding gas away. Alright, so I decided to go with my flux core welder. For those of you who are wondering, it's a Sentry. It's actually just a cheap one I ended up picking up at a pawn shop. Oh, I got my light again. This plug's faulty. I need to replace it. It's a Sentry FC90. Well, just as I was getting that welder finally dialed in, I ran out of wire. That spool did not have much on it. I'm used to these holding a lot more than that. Must have been a cheap spool. Lincoln Electric. I usually go with Lincoln Electric or Hobart or something like that. A good brand name wire. Well, that sucks. I either A, need to give up for the night, or B, get out the big welder. Well, you'll know my decision here in a second. Well, those welds weren't bad at all for the flux core. You can see all the spatter from the flux core. Looking pretty good. Finally got that sitting set just right before the wire ran out. Still need to weld that up, and then we need to weld all the way down and do it on the opposite side. So I decided to pull out the big welder. Yeah, it's a snap-on M20, or yeah, you can read. It's a muscle MIG. I bought that many years ago. I bought it new. Overpaid a little bit. You do with the tool trucks, but I have been incredibly happy with the purchase. Love this welder. Let's go ahead and plug it into my generator. Start welding up. This one's definitely the worst. I think this is where the main part of the tree landed. This part of the frame's actually bent out slightly, and as I press these together, the frame does not correct itself. It's staying bent outwards. I'm going to put a bumper jack out here and lift and see if I can push this back into place, and if I can, I'll weld it and it'll most likely stay. Got to be ready for bumper jacks to bite you. And I was ready for it. It was working really, really well, actually. I hit it with a hammer and that's why it came off. Bending the frame up like it's supposed to, or like I'm wanting. It's actually lifting this whole side of the frame up off the ground. There it goes again. We'll grab a pair of vice grips. Help hold it on. I definitely don't suggest using bumper jacks. Well, I cannot for the life of me find a bumper jack or a pair of vice grips. So we're just gonna get it in place and tack it. There we go again with the bumper jack. I'm gonna use the sideways a little bit. I definitely do not condone using a bumper jack this way. If you're going to use a bumper jack, you need to know the risks before you use it. Never ever get in the way of a bumper jack either. Gotta use them almost like a loaded gun. pressure here and see what we get. Getting where I want it to. That frame is pretty straight for the most part. Pretty happy with that. I think I'm going to drill that out. Looks like a little crack right there. And if you drill it out, it'll stop the crack. Alrighty, definitely gave the old Chicago electric generator a workout tonight. I had it running, all the lights you can see going, and the welder. Pretty good old generator. If you guys want to see more on this, I'll put some links in the description or put some cards up here. I've had this thing for a long time. Anyways, it's looking pretty good now. Haven't really cleaned them all up yet, but my welds look a heck of a lot better than their old ones. There's mine. I run just a little hot sometimes. The bubble at the end of that one, I got into the paint. Yeah, let's turn a light on. There you go. Welding up those, I don't know what you'd call them. Welding those up as well. Just a little extra strength on that corner. Go around to the other side. Let's see, that weld there. Like I said, I haven't cleaned them up yet. They look pretty good though. I'm happy with them. A couple spots I was burning through. I don't know what it was going on. I don't know if it was me or if it was the steel being thin in areas, but this was the worst of it. You can still see a little bit of it coming out here, but it's a heck of a lot better than it was. Yeah, I could wail on it with a sledgehammer and possibly push it back, but I'm not going to make that much noise. Not tonight. It's like 11:30. Already making enough noise. That was the flux core. There's some more of the flux core. They look pretty good, honestly. All of this was done with flux core. That was not, I don't believe. And then the rest of this was with the MIG. So that one doesn't look that great. But that's, I would say I am happy with all the prep that's been done now. The only thing I need to do is straighten up some of these guys, and that's really easy. You just get a big crescent wrench and you put it on there, and you can bend those over really easy and straighten them up. But I'd say all the prep is done. All the extra welding that I wanted to get done has been done. Strengthened the frame up a lot. So tomorrow we're gonna get back out here and get the wood put on. Alright, so here's the next day. Again, you can tell which welds are mine and which welds are theirs. Anyways, I put some rust stopper spray paint across the top of this rail. It's going to stop some rust. It's not going to stop everything, but I wanted to make sure those fresh welds in the areas around them were painted. So our next step that we're going to be doing today, we're going to be chopping up some of this angle iron. About more than I needed, but we're going to be chopping some of this angle iron up, and we are going to be bolstering up these areas. We'll probably put one about here all the way across. Same thing with here all the way across, so it'll actually hold some weight. If we were to put a board across here, it'll hold weight, but it's going to hold weight better if we put some angle iron in here. So one's going to go there, one's going to go here between, and one's going to go here in between. So 48 inches in between the frames. We'll measure it out and we'll get these cut up and weld it in. Alright, next up, what we're going to do is cut off all the leftover bits. Prep. Oop, bump the camera there. Gonna prep it all up and get ready to put those crossbars on. Alright, so I'm going to show you how easy it is to bend these back with a crescent wrench. Yes, big crescent wrench. This guy's all sorts of bent out of shape. Probably happened while it was being pulled apart. Just like that. All right, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna be measuring out in between and cutting up some angle iron. We'll start with the back. I don't think any of these are gonna be necessarily different sizes. They shouldn't be if this frame's actually square. Let's see, from the inside to the inside, that is 60 and an eighth. 60 inches and 1/8. No, that's fun. That is a little different. That is 59 3/4. That is 59 7/8. That front one's going to be different. I know that because I'm going to be putting it where they've actually bolstered up the frame. So we're going to start with this side. What was that, 60 and an eighth. Let's see. Go to reach for the marker and unplug my microphone. 60 and 1/8. I'll cut right on the line. That should give us just enough space to get it into the frame. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and cut. Yes, I am using a circular saw. It's meant for wood on metal. Just has an abrasive saw blade in it. Done this for many years. Is it safe? Don't know. Oh, overloaded the generator. Little generator's like, what is that? I don't like it. Quit it. Gonna take the auto idle off. All right, let's try that again. Let me turn that battery charger off in here too. That's pulling 15 amps. That'll help too. Would I suggest doing this? No, because I'm not going to be liable for anybody's decisions. Dang it. I have to get the big generator out or cut slower. Take my watch off too so I don't fill the speaker with metal shavings. Try cutting a little slower. Oh, it's pinching the blade. Which is weird that it pinched the blade because it's opening up, not closing. Why you pinch the blade? Oh, I know why. It is pinching the blade because it's closing up. There we go. There we go. There's our first piece. That would be going right in between, like so. Looks like it's like perfectly cut. Close enough at least. Now I just need to clean up where it's going to be welding into and weld it in place, but we're going to go ahead and cut the rest of these before we start up the big generator and start welding. Alright, that edge is cleaned up. Let's take our next measurement. It's going to be in between here. right, so that guy will be for right here. Ooh. Next one is this front piece. I would have laughed if that was exactly the right size. It's nearly. So this 120-foot section of angle iron, 2x2, 1/8, will do the entire trailer in between. Just adding to it. Yeah, it's take the measurement. Take the measurement, make the cut. Alrighty, tubers, so it's looking pretty good now. You can see I put this bar in already, and it is like perfectly flush with the top here. That will weld in really, really nicely. This trailer is not, the frames in between are not square. I was measuring up the best I could to get it just right, but it's gonna just have to be good enough. These guys are going to go in like this. I've already ground away the metal. Some of these are tight fitting enough to where I can just set them in there and they fit perfect. How many are like that? I'm not sure. Nearly all of them. The back one does it, this one doesn't, so the one in the middle is the only one that doesn't. But I think it is time to weld. We're going to get the big welder out again. We have to get the big generator out, and we're going to weld all this up. Then we're going to throw some paint on it as well, just to stop it from rusting in the future. Well guys, that's looking pretty good. My lovely wife helped me get those on there. This one's a little twisted, but I don't really care. When they're going on a trailer, you can correct them pretty easily by bolting them down. We're gonna get those centered as best we can, and then I'm gonna put bolts in the top of the boards and in the bottom of the boards for now. I only got 25 bolts to bolt these things down. And currently there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 times 2 is 22. So if we put one bolt in each of these, we'd only be left with 2. So might have to go buy some more bolts. Should be perfectly fine. Could we get some wire for that other welder as well? But I think it's time to start bolting these guys down. See what it looks like after we're done. Well, it's looking pretty good, guys. Got all the lumber put on. It's not bolted down yet. That's the next step that we got to do. Don't mind the cute puppy in the background. She's got a raw soup bone, beef bone. She is thrilled with it. So we got to bolt this all down. I'm not going to be bolting it in the center. I was going to. I'll do that later. I'm just going to be bolting it in the front all the way across and the back all the way across. I might be adding these angle iron to the sides to shore up the sides, so when I pull stuff onto the sides it doesn't destroy the wood. I'll just weld those in place. It'll also strengthen up the sides a lot. So I will probably be adding those. When I say probably, I will be adding those. So it's just a matter of cutting those guys up, getting them to size, welding them down, and then on to drilling like 57 holes, I think we ended up counting. So I'm going to time lapse this as well, so you guys don't have to sit here and watch me. So hope you guys enjoy. I'll be back. I cannot win for losing. I had it on time lapse and then my phone decided to die. If my camera did time lapse, I just used my camera, but I've got to use my phone for time lapse, so that's fun. I don't know what you guys missed other than me getting the welder out again. Oh, I prepped the metal on this side for me to weld the angle iron in, and then I'm going to come around and do this side. Hopefully the charger that I've got it on will keep it charged enough to run time lapse. I'll see you guys in a bit. All right. Almost. Come on. I always run my generators out of fuel when I'm done using them, even if I'm going to be done with them for a day or any amount of time. I always just turn the fuel off. So this guy's on. It's welded, painted, good to go. This guy is welded on, not painted yet. This guy started making some funny noises while I was welding this one. Welded up fine. Welded this guy fine. It's a little cold. Started welding funny too. And then I started getting porosity. Porosity is when you get oxygen in your weld itself. It's really bad. It'll make it so the weld won't hold worth beans. Pretty much turns your weld into Swiss cheese. Tons of little holes in it. This guy was bent down again, most likely from the tree hitting it. So I was able to actually use the strength of the angle iron and pull it up. You can see a little bit of waviness right here in the... Just happened. Oh, I just shut my light off because the battery is dying. But it's got a little bit of waviness because it is holding this side up. I need to take a sledgehammer to the bottom side of this, see if I can get it to force itself up a little bit. The reason why I've got porosity in my weld is because I've run out of welding gas. MIG welders use a mix of gas. It is 75% argon, 25% carbon dioxide. It shields the weld while you're welding. And I ran out, so I am done for the night as far as welding with this welder. And my other welder, I do not have any wire for it. I forgot to pick some up today. So I think we're done. I'll have to come back another day finish this guy up. But yeah, it's coming along. Hope you guys have been enjoying so far. Yeah, see you in a bit, tubers. Alrighty, tubers. It's coming along. I just welded these guys on. I ended up using a small welder because I couldn't go get gas for my big welder. So I ended up using the little guy. Works okay. It's a little windy today. So I had to grind away some of the weld because it kept getting porosity in it because it was blowing away all the shielding and all the protectants from the wire. So got it all welded up. It's just time to start drilling holes and getting this guy all bolted down. I need to cut up some lumber to fit here and here. Eventually I'll get some wheel wells or make wheel wells. But it's coming along. I'm gonna go ahead and keep time-lapsing here for you guys. And we're gonna use the same saw that we did the other day to saw wood now. So yeah, let's get to it. Alrighty, yeah, my phone's overheating again. I didn't bring my camera with me today. But it's coming together really nicely. A lot of those boards were pretty badly bent. This one you can actually see it's twisted this way and then twisted that way up there. It's almost like a propeller. But we got the deck all semi-bolted down. These are through, but not all of them are screwed down. You can see difference between a screwed down one and not. What we got to do now is cut the boards out for here and bolt those guys down. I might run one runner right here, a little piece of angle iron or something, because we got it here but we don't have it here, just depending on how springy the wood is, if it's going to hold it. But yeah, let's get this thing done. Alright, been busy. My phone overheated and I forgot to hit record later on. But all we've been doing is cutting the lumber. We're going to do it on this side at least. We're doing a 2x4, a 2x6, which is actually 2x5.5 or 5.5. And then there's another 2x6 that was all beat up. And I took it across my new table saw. Cut down one side of it. That was really, really nasty and bad. It fits in just beautifully. So that's how we're going to do that. We'll get this side all bolted down, and then we're going to get around to all the other sides like this, get them done, and then I'm going to go underneath and tighten down all the nuts on the bottom side of the bolts. And then we'll be done with it for now. Eventually, I would like to build some drive-over drive-over fenders. I've actually already thought of how to build them. I'm just going to do angle iron off of these guys up and over, and then back down again, and then I'll have one piece here coming up for strength. So yeah, we'll build those later on. We'll also do the lights later on. Stay tuned for those videos, but for now, we're just building the deck. Alright, so I needed a 2x4 for this side. This 2x6s, or 2x4. I actually just cut this down on my table saw. I'm loving having a table saw now. Cut this guy down so it'll fit right in. Which there's a little more space between them, but beggars can't be choosers. I'm pretty happy with that. The 2x4 that I bought was a little short, so that'll work. Alrighty, tubers. So that was took a long time. The next part is going to take a long time as well. I've got to tighten down every single one of these bolts. There's like 50 something of them. I've already tightened down some of the edge bolts, but now it's time to tighten down everything else. Wish me luck. It really looks good. I like it. Got a nice flat deck on it. I think it's going to work great. I just have these boards sitting here right now. They're not actually mounted or anything. I've come up with a design for some drive-over fenders that I'll be putting on this. That'll be many, many months away for me actually accomplishing that job. This is going to be used as a storage trailer for now. At the storage unit where I keep some of my projects, I've got things in one spot and they are requiring that those are all sitting on a trailer. Because if they're all sitting on a trailer, they're not considered double parking in one spot. So that's what this guy is going to be used for foreseeable future. It's not going to be only a storage trailer, but that will be what it is for a little while. But once I get around to building those fenders and hooking up the lights, I'll definitely make sure to make videos for you guys. Yes, I know these guys only have 2 lug nuts in them currently. I've got some on order. But yeah, I think it turned out really good. I kept the stair on it there just because I can. It's actually functionable. I'm going to most likely cut a section out of this on the very back, just a sliver of it, about like this. And I'm going to mount 2 nice 4-inch round tail lights in here and run wires into that back bumper for lights. I think it'll look really, really nice. Yeah, I don't think there's really much more to do on it now other than loading stuff up onto it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a couple days in the making. It's taken me some time to get done, but I think it turned out pretty good. Hope you have a good one, tubers. See you later. Bye.